Greetings and welcome back to Stellaris, my Commonwealth of Man playthrough. So we've subjugated 3 primitive civilizations and have finally encountered other spaceborne life forms, and they appear to be in some sort of federation down that way. And I have not checked the victory conditions in a while. We're ranked 10. That's actually pretty good. That means that we have moved above quite a few of the others, because there should be a minimum of 10 alien species that are not precursors or fallen empires. So that means that we should have been like rank 13 if we were below everybody else, but we are actually building up above them fairly well, it appears. Now, one thing I need to do is start getting more specialist jobs set up, but I need more consumer goods to fuel most of the good specialist jobs. The bureaucrats, the entertainers, the researchers. So I've been a bit slow in building my mining districts. We actually do need to get a handful of mining districts built, as well as we're going to need more energy districts and food districts. And I didn't even check, this world here would actually be better for energy. And didn't this species have... No, they actually make good miners. Oh, they're going to be good ones to shift over to handle our mining. They're not good for armies, but they do have reduced empire size from pops. The features on this world, they have not finished getting their industrial wasteland and sprawling slum. So we will get another free population. Now, this place only has 2 mining districts. I'm going to keep them for now. But eventually I need to shift these over to be generator districts, because this world will be much better for generator districts than anything else. And these guys aren't the most efficient at generators since they're better miners, but I could always shift somebody else over here to work the generators. I don't need to keep them, even though they've got 100% habitability here compared to going to another continental planet where they'd only have 80%. I don't mind not keeping them on their homeworld. We've actually got quite a few of them since they were in early space age. Their planet was very heavily developed. Of course, that also means there's going to be a lot of people with low approval rating here. So we definitely need to get some of them off of this planet. But we have a huge amenity boost switching them over to domestic servants, which does remind me, it might be a good idea to put our default slavery type under our species to be domestic servitude, so that when we conquer planets, since most of them will be dumped out of specialist and leader jobs, the unemployed will automatically start generating amenities and become servants. And then we can always, when we pick up a new species, if they don't have like the stellar culture shock or something, and we could shift them around, change the slavery type immediately. So yeah, we should put our default slavery type on domestic servitude. That way any new pre-FTL empires we invade will automatically be set to that. I'm going to go ahead and start building the starbase here so we can get this extra energy credits there and be able to move on and grab this final choke point. And then we can just start slowly expanding later. But for now, we need to focus on getting our colonies built up some. We will grab over to this choke point next after we grab Obatelis, but we probably won't rush down this way just yet.
Science Division reports a new breakthrough.
Administrative AI, organizational circuitry rerouting academic fervor. We now can get a blue laser, a fusion reactor, or research station output. That would be the fastest. We're getting 9 physics, 3 society, and 5 engineering from stations. So that wouldn't even give us a full point in any of these areas. It'd come closest to physics, which is our highest anyway. That one we can delay in order to upgrade our ships any. we are either going to have to, because they're currently at 0 power, either going to have to add reactor boosters or upgrade the reactors. So I think it might be a good idea to get the fusion reactor to give us some surplus power for our ships. Now, do we have somebody else we can put in here? No, nobody else will get any particular bonus to what we're going after. I don't think it was particles. Oh, it is particles. So we could put Azizi in here. He is currently en route to investigate this one because he was level 3. So I think what we can do is we will shift control and tell him to enter orbit first. That way, because you can't change out the leader when they're on a mission. For example, here it says cannot move leader that is on a research mission. So now that he's not on a research mission and because he hadn't made it there, that didn't interrupt anything. It just freed him up. We can actually shift him over to here. Which dropped almost 20 months off of that. So we'll get it in about a little over 7 years instead of 9. Now, as far as assigning a leader here, this person is only level 2. It would take them a while. That person is only... the only other level 3 we got is in the middle of an assignment. Let's see. This ship is going to take... 4 months to get here. The Traveler is almost done with this, so we will be able to shift her over there as soon as she finishes this one. In the meantime, we can go ahead and assign a leader so it doesn't get rid of that. We'll put Luo in here. Someone used a mining laser from orbit approximately 5,000 years ago to carve a large body of writing into the surface of Ofang 5. The massive script covers a large portion of the planet's upper hemisphere and appears to be a short story chronicling the difficult life of an alien mercenary. So now we can switch out our level 3 Cassandra over to get this other anomaly, which would take her about 3 years. And in the ship that is going around finishing the surveys, even though she is one of the better ones for doing survey because of the anomaly discovery chance, we'll go ahead and stick Luo in there so he can gain a little bit of experience. He's really close to hitting level 3 anyway. As a matter of fact, she still needs 3 months to get there. If in 3 months he can get a level, which I doubt is going to happen since he needs about 60 points, then we could actually what we could do is just go ahead and have him gain some experience while this ship travels and then shift him over there to do it, but rather than having her start it. But that could cause a delay, and we'll just let it go and see how it goes. We have another encounter with somebody we are calling the Alpha Bogies. Let's have a look at them. To Yankee. No pressure on doing the first contact with them. They aren't going to be attempting to do a first contact with us. We can wait on that one until we have a spare envoy. Now, one thing I'd like to see is them doing away with the envoy system. Rather than giving us limited envoys and having an arbitrary cap on the amount of envoys we have, just use the leader pool. So that way they have an upkeep, they gain experience, they have skills, and have it where you can use any of your existing leaders to do a first contact. And their type or whatever can affect that. For example, governors would actually probably get a bonus because they are diplomats and bureaucrats and stuff like that that would be pretty good at trying to contact another species. But then again, maybe scientists also get a bonus to that. And just have their different traits have an effect on what they do as an envoy. For example, somebody with statecraft would probably get a bonus. And they could also have it when you're setting up spy networks and stuff like that. You can use any of these, although, say, admirals and generals would probably be best at it. And that is your cap on envoys, because you have to hire leaders and you have to pay upkeep on them. So they would eventually die of old age, just like any others. And that, I think, would be a better system than this arbitrary envoy system. They could just put like a hard cap on how many you can put in, say, the galactic community or a federation. Maybe you could only have one envoy in a galactic community equal to the number of other people in there. So if you have, say, 10 empires in the galactic community, you couldn't put more than 10 envoys in there. And replace this arbitrary cap with a bonus to the effectiveness of envoys. Say, since you start with 2, all envoys are, say, 10% more effective. And each additional envoy slot, previous things would unlock, like, say, perks or techs or buildings, adds another 5% effectiveness to envoys, which would affect their first contact speed, their espionage or infiltration speed, or the bonus they give to the galactic community or the or federations. Yeah, 10 experience, I'd have to do 5 more surveys. How many more are in Ofang? I've got 2 more in Ofang. And as a matter of fact, it's going to take me a month to get over to this one. And then it'll probably take me a couple of months to get into this system. But then I can get 3 fairly quickly. So yeah, I think I will do that. I think I will just tell this person to go in orbit. That way I'm not tying up a person who is better for doing surveys. I will have another level 3, so it will take 3 years from the point that Yulao gets to level 3. We've still got about 13 months before Unity gets its industrial district. It'll have another miner in about 3 months.
Construction complete.
Oh, I have the wrong person highlighted. Alright, so we can build that mining station to boost our energy credits. And then move to claim this nice choke point system.
Recon pass completed.
Alright, about 3 more surveys. And apparently you want to go all the way to the other end to do the surveys. No, start here. Survey the system from this side. We can get 2 quickly, and then a 3rd, and be able to swap who is in here. Following the sightings of unidentified spacecraft in the Vuzabaru system, all forces in the vicinity have been ordered to assume a heightened state of readiness as per standard protocol. Intelligence is still analyzing what little data we have on the bogey, but it appears capable of hyperspace travel. Offensive capabilities remain unknown, and this likely represents our first contact with a new alien civilization. We should take steps to decipher their communications. So we could nab some of them, but they have to be Tango bogies within sensor range. Well, we've got Delta bogies in sensor range here. Yeah, Alpha bogies and 2 Delta bogey ships. So we can't nab any of the Tango bogies, so just keep at it. We're now in stage 3, 2 more stages to get all the way through to first contact.
Construction complete.
Alright, that'll help our energy credits a tad. You know, it might be a good idea to move our fleet over here. Because we could slow them down from being able to claim systems by taking out their scientists, and having a military presence could help out if they get annoyed when I nab some of their people. Let's see how my piracy is doing. It's growing fairly slowly. Let's wait until this fleet is at full. It's still kind of risky, them being nearby where they can try and sense some of my other ships. Me having a science vessel over here, they may return the favor and try and nab one of our scientists. We'll go ahead and build another agriculture district on Leffingwell and pull 2 of these servants up to be more farmers. We'll lose about 8 amenities, but that'll still leave us on the positive end right now. And it will get us out of a deficit of food. Alright, he has finally hit level 3. So we will go ahead and swap out these scientists. And it'll take him about 3 years, but he will be able to research that anomaly. And now we can get the better one for doing surveys back out here doing surveys. And we need to start claiming this system so that we can get an observation post built, and it also keeps them from cutting us off this way. 4 more months for our industrial district to come up. That should take care of our consumer good deficit and allow us to reinforce ships a little faster. Speaking of ships, we could spare 2 more servants here to build another generator district or to build a building. And I think we might want to build a stronghold so we can start working on another fleet, since we only have 2 more ships we can build here. Actually, Leffingwell might be a better place because these guys actually give army damage increase. So they would be much better for being our defensive armies. Yeah, we could spare 2 here, but we're already building another agriculture district. What about Doron? We've got plenty here we can spare, but these guys are weak. Yeah, it is Leffingwell we want to build another stronghold on, but we need more population over here first. Well, we can spare the other servant and the clerk, but that will do a number on our amenities. We are going to need to get some entertainers over here for the rest of our population. And it's already in the middle of constructing something, so we need to build somewhere else first. So I guess getting a generator district over here and pulling 2 of those servants up would be the better idea. Although building something over here might also be a good idea. We can't really build any more districts, but we have plenty of building slots. Alright, this is a size 15 world. In the end, it'll have 15 districts, so we could have 11. That would only be 2 left over for industrial. We'll actually probably keep the 2 mining, all the generator, and the 4 city districts for now. But we could stand to move this off of farming. Actually, rather than building the generator district here, this one has a huge surplus. We are building an agriculture district over here, so we are going to get more food. We could shift the food away from here. And replace this with a generator district. Alright, my other scientists have hit level 3 now as well. We've got 12 months. In 3 months we'll be correcting that, so I don't need to worry about it. Who just moved into the area? Sierra bogies, the one I am not researching. Yeah, one more month and we will have an industrial district, so it should pull up a couple of miners, hopefully. Alright, we've got the same thing for mysterious spacefarers, but we can actually try and nab some of the Delta bogies. So let's nab some of them for closer investigation. That is a really low difficulty because of how aggressive we're being, but it has a huge potential for a negative response.
Construction complete.
Alright, this is now our system. We'll go ahead and start with the observation post and then come back and build the research stations, since I don't think they are as critical as getting the observation post online. And then we're going to want to head over here to see if we can catch this before they do. What do we have? These are the Sierra bogies. They are mammalian. And the Delta bogies are molluscoids. Yeah, because the mammalians have the same ship design we do.
Tracking spaceborne life form.
Made first contact with mysterious aliens in the Koldak system, called the Victor bogies. They are hostile. Space amoebas. No rush on first contact with them right now either. However, them being hostile, I believe you have to be some form of xenophile to be able to pacify them. So they are going to be aggressive to us, and we are going to end up having to fight them.
Science Division reports a new breakthrough.
Geothermal fracking. New fracking techniques will allow us to tap into previously unattainable pockets of geothermal resources deep beneath the planet's crust. So that'll help out us getting our planets developed. Now we can improve our coil guns. Because we are working on fusion reactors, we could upgrade weapons. We could get the mineral purification plants to boost our miners even more. Or we could work on powered exoskeletons that will boost our army and our worker pop resource output. Now this will lead into robotics as well, which could boost how quickly our planets develop, because we would be able to also build robots. And I think that's the route we're going to go, just because the base army damage and the worker pop resource, the passive effects of a powered exoskeleton, are very beneficial for our empire, even if we decide not to pursue the robots. That would take under 7 years. We'll actually be getting this in about 6, this 6.5, and this in about 7. So we'll be getting all 3 of our researches next episode, unless we get some breakthroughs or stored research in the meantime. I am going to go ahead and build the starbase over here. It gives us both energy credits and minerals in this system, and this is the final choke point I wanted for now. That'll keep a line on that route. And then we'll go back and grab this one. Now this one's going to be kind of blocked for us for a bit till we can clean out those. So any further expansion we do will probably be either along here, or we will go back and check out some of the nearby systems while we are developing colonies. We found an archaeological site over here. Another reason I really want this system then. That is a moon bump. And we have a new faction led by Admiral Kingsley, the Committee of Higher Learning. They are pushing hard for the advancement of sciences. So this is a technologist faction. Technologist factions desire an empire-wide embrace of scientific progress and the fruits of technological advancement. They dislike politically motivated bans on certain avenues of research, as well as being outpaced by other empires. Right now, the only thing we can do to boost approval is allow AI. Right now, we're not rejecting it. We might change our mind down the line. It's just a small faction right now, so it's not one I have to worry about pleasing too awfully much. The main two factions I should be worried about is the Human Ascendancy Movement, who already has 100% support, and the Drumbeat of Victory, who has very low support, and we are working on that by trying to build up our navy. It pulled up a farmer? No. I am already suffering a deficit of food. I can spare a miner before I could spare a farmer. We are about a year away from getting another population here on Natchbull. I think I am going to build a civilian industries here. Yeah, I'm going to build a civilian industries here. Let me check my my construction ships. He's going to need another 100 minerals within about a month. And this is going to drain me. But I do need to get some more consumer goods up because we're starting to run low. Of course, we're also going to be starting to run low on energy credits. But stellar culture shock should go away in about 8 months, which means the resources these guys are providing will jump a little bit. And we'll also be able to change their slavery type to chattel slavery, which can further boost the resource output. So we are going to get started working on some civilian industries here. And this human that is grown here can immediately start working this job. Once it is up, and we can start getting more specialists going here to boost the stability. And we will have some energy credits taken care of as we shift these over. But we're also going to need more food output. But we can wait a while on that. We have a surplus of food to handle deficits for a bit. And as stellar culture shock wears out on Leffingwell, the food output of these farmers will increase. That could compensate for the deficit already. Now, Leffingwell actually has another year of stellar culture shock, though. Alright, it's only going to take 16 days to get over there. I will not have the minerals he needs when he gets in range there. So let's actually increase the time it's going to take to get there by diverting over this way first. It'll take 11 days to get here. Then I only need it to take 10 more days to get there, and I will automatically have the minerals, and it won't cancel the order. Yeah, I should be fine. You know, one thing that hasn't popped up yet is the Habitable World Survey.
Construction complete.
Alright, we are going to have to wait to start on these districts. I'm going to need 300 minerals for this entire area, but there's no rush on that. I want to finish the ones here and move over that way and get a few more districts probably online first. One thing I forgot now that this observation post is online. I like this new diplomacy and espionage screen you can get. You can see their awareness level, their current diplomatic stance, and their progress to the next tech level. So we can see that they will advance. They're about 60% through advancing. Also, you can build spy networks in primitive civilizations, and that affects the value of the observation post. As we build up our infiltration level, we will get more value from the observation post. And we can actually do operations to either lower their awareness, raise their awareness, start uplifting them, indoctrinate their society so that you can shift their ethics toward yours, or outright infiltrate their government so that you can get the planet without having to first uplift them or by conquering. It just transfers the planet to your control with a large but temporary happiness boost. So it's a peaceful way to integrate them into your empire. But yeah, I do like the new first contact features. Alright, I am building the final research station there, so I can get started on the stations here. We'll build that mining station, enter orbit over here, build this one, enter orbit over here, and build this one. And then I guess we will simply stay in orbit of the station until we decide to start progressing somewhere else. And we're about a year into this one, so about 2 more years and we should complete that second precursor anomaly. We were able to disable the exploratory vessel of the Delta Bogies, but only after a bloody firefight that continued even as we boarded their ship. So ferocious was the struggle that no living survivors remained. It seems that wounded combatants committed suicide rather than permit themselves to be captured. Despite their hasty last-minute efforts to wipe their computer systems and rig the ship to explode, their vessel is still very much intact, and our researchers are poised to see what they can find out from it. So we have hit stage 4, low difficulty for this one, by successfully invading their ship. Now, did we get a free ship out of that? Or did it get rid of one of their ships? We'll let it advance and see. I got no new civilian ships, and that's the Sierra bogies. Yeah, it looks like the Delta bogies are gone. We just have the Sierra bogies in the area. So we did get rid of whatever ship they had over here that was doing surveys. Alright, we are reinforcing the final ship for Strike Force Medusa.
Construction complete.
In about 4 months, we can start developing the starbase for Saif. That would give us a choke point. And I probably should start saving up the alloys to immediately upgrade this to a starport. Alright, we have our first situation pop up. Now that we have an observation post, we can get observation insights. Our scientists are in the process of gathering insights from our barbarian study subjects. We may discover a new insight technology during a breakthrough event. You can set this to favor insights, where you will get half of the effects of your observation post, so I'd only get 2.5 society research, but I would get a higher amount of monthly change. This is the default level, and this one favors whatever my station does by boosting it what it produces. So this will give me like 7.5 instead of getting insights. Now when we build this up to collect insights all the way up, we will get a new technology as a fixed option after an event on an observation post. Now, the way this increases depends on how many observation posts you have. So the more observation posts, the faster this situation fills up. If you have 5, it'd go up by about 2.5. Because even though it's saying +1 for me having an observation post, I only have the 1 observation post, but each additional one only adds half a point. And we get to finish expansion. So we have Galactic Ambition. The banner of our great empire will one day be as common as hydrogen throughout the galaxy. This will reduce our starbase upkeep, which should refund us some energy credits. And since we have finished expansion, we now get an additional district for every non-artificial planet. We can also pick our first Ascension perk. So Lord of War gives us access to mercenary enclaves. Nihilistic Acquisition would allow us to do the raiding bombardment stance so that we can abduct populations from besieged planets and resettle them to our own worlds. We could pick up slaves. Interstellar Dominion will reduce our cost to claim and build star bases, influence-wise. Influence is not a bottleneck for me right now because I am doing very slow-paced expansion. I am focusing on building up what I have. I'm not that interested in snagging a whole bunch of territory fast because I don't have a whole bunch of aliens close to me, it appears. Mastery of Nature is another one I kind of like because of the additional 2 districts. But the decision for Mastery of Nature, I believe it costs influence. Though, like I said, influence is not a bottleneck for us. Executive Vigor would allow me to run more edicts. I do have access to more edicts now. Let's see. I would be able to run Master's Teaching, which would boost my naval capacity and reduce my army upkeep. Imperial Prerogative would drop my empire size another 30 points. And we are going to be an empire at some point. Now we don't have the fleet capacity to do a mercenary enclave yet anyway. You have to have a fleet with a size of 50. Right now the most we can get a fleet to is 30. So there's no rush on Lord of War. Nihilistic Acquisition could be useful to weaken our opponents if we don't end up conquering them, but it's pretty cheap for us to do claims. If we got Interstellar Dominion, it would be even cheaper for us to do claims, so rather than simply raiding them, we could just annex their territory. I'm thinking Mastery of Nature might actually be a good one. It reduces the clear blocker cost first off. And if we take our next tradition to be domination, that just taking it reduces blocker cost again. So we would be able to cheaply remove those blockers without tech requirements on Doron, which is currently capped because of blockers, I believe. And the Mastery of Nature will allow us to build additional districts on our planets. Though we're not close to the cap of districts on most of our planets, being able to build more would be nice, because now... But yeah, none of these others are really grabbing me for helping us in our current state. I mean, Interstellar Dominion is nice. Nihilistic Acquisition is nice. Imperial Prerogative and Executive Vigor are both nice. Transcendent Learning could also be useful. Boosting our level cap above 5 and letting our leaders gain levels faster. And Shared Destiny is something we may look for later on, since I do plan on having a lot of subjects. Them not suffering a monthly loyal penalty for having multiples would be very useful. But right now, I think Mastery of Nature, just the clear blocker cost reduction alone, is going to be useful. So although we mastered the nature of our home world long ago, the alien biomes we have since encountered present new challenges. They too shall be overcome. And now we are at our fleet cap. I need to hurry up and get my economy in a good state so I can start adding soldiers, so that I can start building an additional fleet. I can go ahead and go into Fleet Manager and design an additional fleet. Yeah, our next fleet, we will just use the interceptors. But the first thing we will probably do when we get more fleet capacity is add 10 interceptors to this fleet so we have a fleet size of 30. And then we will build up this fleet and add 10 pickets to it. And we will have 2 fleets of 30, which would be pretty close. Would still be a little bit under on our naval coverage. Speaking of which, we're at our cap of naval capacity, but if I go to factions, I'm no longer getting the penalty for low naval capacity usage, but I'm not giving a bonus for high naval capacity usage because I have to equal my naval coverage requirement. So in order to get the bonus with this, I got rid of the penalty, but in order to get the bonus, I need to have a fleet of at least 71 so that I am getting 100% naval coverage with power projection. Now the other things they want is they want me to be an overlord and they want me to have rivalries. So there is a chance once we complete these first contacts, I can get antagonistic and get them a little bit happier. But if I actually draw these people into a war, I am not in a position to handle a fight against 3 empires at once. I've already antagonized them a little bit from abducting one of them ships. And one thing I forgot is back in April, I actually lost the stellar culture shock on that one. This one will go away in September. So I can actually go to this species and I should be able to change their slavery type now. I could make them chattel slaves. Now these guys produce leaders that are more talented, but they can't produce leaders unless we give them full citizenship, and our ethics prevent that. So that is a wasted talent on them. Other than that, they're attracted to our governing ethics. They reduce housing usage, but they have more empire size from pops. So this is not a species we are really going to end up proliferating. For now, we can make use of them. They can be soldiers if we make them battle thralls, but these guys aren't the best fighters. They could be specialists if we gave them indentured servitude. They just can't be soldiers or entertainers. We could keep them as livestock. They're really only going to be good on this tropical world. So let's take a look at the tropical world real quick. We've got some generator districts we're going to build. We are building some civilian industries. But we could have them boosting our energy credit output and be able to shift generator districts off of some of our other worlds. We could shift Unity back to mining by building more generator districts here for them to work. Right now we'd have 4 unemployed pops if we switched their slavery type, even though these would provide more energy credits. Shifting them off of this world, their low habitability would create problems for most jobs I would have them work. So I think I need to wait until I develop a few more generator districts to give them something to work at, and then switch their slavery type. For now, allowing them to be servants is going to work out. The more I think about it, the more keeping them as domestic servants makes sense, because now their habitability preference doesn't really matter except for upping how much food requirement they have. So if I look at them, they have a 1 food upkeep. If I put them on a planet where they have lower habitability, they will suffer an extra bit of food upkeep. However, being servants produces amenities. Being clerks produces amenities and trade value. Neither of these are affected by your resource modifiers for planetary habitability. Because, for example, this human has 70% habitability. He requires more amenities. He has more upkeep, but his resources from jobs, these are not affected by resources from jobs. So while my humans here on this world are requiring more amenities and would require more food and more consumer goods, they are not affected while they're working clerk jobs, their resource output. Now, it will affect their resource output as entertainers or artisans, because those have things like unity or consumer goods, stuff like that. But if I keep these guys as domestic servants, I could move them to any planet regardless of habitability, and sure, I'd have to feed them more, but they would still be able to work both clerk jobs and as servants with no real penalty. And speaking of penalties, I want this human to be an artisan. So let me see if I can get him bumped up. There we go. Now, he does require a little bit more consumer goods now being a specialist, but his happiness is increased, which is boosting stability on the planet. And when we get another human up here, because now we just had the Farine come back and work as a clerk, when we get another human here, as long as we keep the humans shifting up to handle the specialist jobs and let the Farine handle the technician jobs, we should be fine. So yeah, I don't really need to change their slavery type, and I might breed some more of them later to shift to other worlds to handle like the clerk positions or the entertainers. Well, no, I don't want them as entertainers. I want them to stay as workers that don't have modifiers. I don't want to hurt the unity output of an entertainer, and them being up a tier might actually affect to where they actually need consumer goods. But we need more food. Now this is going to expire in about 2 months. That'll boost my food output by a little bit. It should put me back positive, especially once I switch their slavery type. Of course, that is also going to affect amenities, because I will be losing 4 from this servant. So I am going to need entertainer positions here and to move some humans over. I'm about a year away, so I do need to get started on like a holo theater here. Let's check my ships. He's on his way to build a outpost, which I think it's not fully surveyed yet. And I have a couple of months before I need minerals there. So let's go ahead and buy 100 minerals. And on Leffingwell, we'll go ahead and get started on a holo theater. And we will keep them as domestic servants until we actually get the holo theater built. Because, so about another year, and in that 1 year's time, we'll have a human that can jump up and be the entertainer. And we can shift these guys to chattel slaves so that they're producing more food for us, so we can shift some of our other worlds away from food production. I'm about 2 months away from getting another pop here on Flaxington, and I don't have any buildings or any jobs for them to work, so I think I'm going to shift one of these miners over to work the other artisan job. I also have an unemployed worker here. I meant to shift them off ahead of time so I could keep this a colony instead of it becoming auto-designated for now. And it went to Agri-World when I have only a mining district, which is just totally bizarre to me. So yeah, let's resettle that unemployed pop from Dawnlight. Became the other artisan. Now I can switch Dawnlight back to a colony, which will give it an amenities boost and a growth boost and a stability boost. We're going to have some holo theaters here in about 9 months. Right now, what I can do is shift that other human over here. They'll end up taking over either the clerk or the farmer jobs away from the slaves, because the unemployed slaves will turn into servants. Once this holo theater is built, that one plus this other one that is about to come in will be able to move up to be the entertainers. So yeah, let's resettle the one from Flaxington, one of the miners. They'll become a farmer. And I'll have this farmer replaced in 1 month. I should complete this survey in about a day.
Recon pass completed.
So now I can go ahead and get started on building this starbase. And I want to keep about 200 banked so I can immediately start upgrading this starbase. But now the question is, do I want to proceed to here? Because they were down here. Let's at least check out that system. Because it may be I want to push on to here as a choke point. Although that gives them multiple directions to come in from. Multiple directions I would have to protect from. No, actually I think I am going to hold here for now while I develop my empire a little bit more. I think I will start checking out some of these other systems to see if I want to end up developing them. Let's start with these corner systems over here. Let's check out Reganus. And then move to Grekel. Or better yet, we could start clearing out, once we claim this, which will only take about 3 months, we could start clearing out that site. But there's the potential that we're going to have battle here for a bit, so I want to get my scientists a little further away. We'll go back and survey these 3 systems and see if there's any reason for me to claim them right now. Or if I can find more precursor. A fierce plume of flame sears the heavens of unity as a comet skirts the upper atmosphere. The sheer power evident in its cosmic trajectory has made a profound impression on the capital's populace. They liken the intractability of its path to the inevitability of the Commonwealth of Man's ascension to galactic supremacy. To victory! 5 years, we have 5% happiness boost. Does that affect slaves? Doesn't appear to be. Yes, it's not affecting our slaves. It's only affecting our free population, basically.
Construction complete.
So we have claimed out to Obatellis. We do have an archaeological site we could invest in there after we finish with this anomaly in about another year.
Construction complete.
There's 2 mining stations here. I'll go ahead and set aside for, or build the first one. And set aside to do the next one. And then I think we will pull back to Valimar to claim that system and start seeing about claiming back this way. Yeah, there's already a space station here. I'm glad I did not go forward. That's the Sierra bogies. There's a lot of trade value we're not getting in this system right now. Another star base in the vicinity would be good. But we'd actually get it if we could upgrade this to a starport and add 2 more trade length to it because it would reach then. So I don't think we need to invest in another trade hub because of the size of our empire. Our additional star bases, we do need a defensive one here, and probably here as well. If we extend our borders later, we could shift whatever defensive ones we have over to be anchorages. So that would be 2 additional ones. We could still get 2 more, or just leave the extra 2 because we're getting the bonus from running an edict right now, the fortify the border one. I'm actually going to go ahead and buy another 100 minerals. I might get an interruption on my second one, I'm not sure, but we're going to go ahead and buy another 100 minerals. So on this world, Flaxington, I can begin construction of a holo theater. Or, wait. Yeah, I'm 13 months away here on Dawnlight. I can begin construction of a holo theater on Dawnlight. That way I will have entertainers now that I do have sufficient consumer good for them. So this colony can grow a little more, and I could shift some of the spare servants I have over here over as miners when they lose the ability to be servants. Go ahead and start upgrading this to a starport. They're actually more efficient at being the farmers than I am because they were very strong. Now, there is a question here. Do I want to make them chattel slaves that'll reduce their happiness but boost their resources from jobs, which will stack with very strong, so they'll get 15% more from any job they work? Basically equivalent to having a specialized field, although they are already getting additional unhappiness for being slaves and for being workers. Or I could shift them to be battle thralls. And this says they cannot perform ruler or specialist jobs with the sole exception of working as soldiers. Soldiers are worker jobs, not specialist or ruler. This would boost their army damage. They'd be great for creating for armies. And they are very strong, so that would give them an overall 60% output as invaders. But for now, they actually seem to be my best for workers. I think the chattel slavery is better for them at this point. I might switch them to battle thralls because I might have someone else who'd be better workers at that point. I do know these guys would make decent miners. Actually, they'll end up being better miners when they are chattel slaves because they'll have a 25% to mining. But for now, I think I'm going to switch them to chattel slavery. Now, that'll pull them out of the entertainer jobs. And 1 human moved up. Let's actually pull out the clerk. So we have 1 unemployed toxoid we can shift to another world. Where do we need slave labor? I guess for now we can put them on Unity, producing minerals. Made him a farmer. Why a farmer and not a miner? There we go. Now you're a miner. Now you 3 need to be farmers. There we go. Yeah, I want the minerals. Yeah, he's producing 0.4 more minerals. He does have extremely low happiness, and habitability is slightly less, but they end up producing more minerals just by a slight amount than my humans. So I can actually probably start breeding them and shifting them over to handle other jobs as I build more buildings. Like here, I'm going to be moving my humans up to be work the holo theaters. So I could build more mining districts and shift them over here because they'll get a little bit more out of it. So yeah, let's actually, now that we can shift this species around, start growing the toxoids. And it'll take about 4 years to get another pop here. Why are they getting reduced habitability on their homeworld? They have 100% habitability here. Why are they having the minus 5% planet habitability? Yeah, this is slow because people are wanting to migrate off this world because there's currently no jobs. So I do need to get more jobs built up. But being able to, I could easily do that by shifting this clerk somewhere else. But right now I have a shortage of jobs on most of my areas. I do have some clerks I could work here. I could open up these jobs, but they will drain minerals, and I don't really need the strategic resource just now. So yeah, I need to get some of these other jobs built, other buildings built, and things filled up. And I do need to get some strongholds built. But first, I still need my mineral output to be a little bit higher so that I can develop these colonies faster.
Construction complete.
Now that I'm not building mining stations, my minerals are climbing a little bit. I still won't have enough to build like a stronghold or anything that cost over like 300, but I could get some more mining districts built. So for now, even though we're low on amenities and really need an entertainment district here, I'm going to build a mining district. Because with the full jobs, I could always shift some of my domestic servants over here just to generate additional amenities. About time. Poetry. Poetry. The readings from the tango bogies signals have caused our linguist a great deal of excitement. While not a single syllable is intelligible, the sounds themselves are undeniably rhythmical, and indeed curiously soothing. Although we cannot be sure, our linguists are convinced that it is a form of poetry. They propose we answer in kind. We can send back a battle chant, share some fine poetry about the subject, or send them something enigmatic. Let's send back a battle chant. Several hours after we broadcast our battle chant, transmission from the Tango bogies ceased. Their ship has positioned itself well out of effective tack range. We can surmise that they understood the gist of our message and were not gladdened by what they heard, so offense was caused. I don't care. We're about to get a breakthrough on the Delta bogies, which is going to abandon that other one anyway, because we will if these guys are in a federation, we'll automatically get communication with all three of them. A great battle between the Grand Navy of the First League and another fleet took place not too far from here some 2 million years ago. The gravity well of Austin III has since captured much of the debris left by this engagement, and the wreckage of several massive hulks can be found on the planet's surface.
New sitrep.
Alright, so let us research that project and then send the emissary to excavate the beautiful bubble. Surface scans of Kundra 2 picked up signs that a technological civilization may have been active on the planet, but has since gone extinct. We will need to mount a surface expedition to learn more. So after we get this holo theaters, I think I'm immediately going to go into another mining district here. Because we can only get like 2 more mining districts, and that would give us a place to shift some of our, like this clerk, which we don't really need. Shift some. That will increase the growth on this planet because there will be available jobs.
Construction complete.
I forgot to queue something up here. Well, I couldn't. It was in the middle of upgrading. So what we want here are some gun batteries. They have actually changed the way that starports and stuff work. They don't carry missiles anymore. They carry medium slots. If I go to one of my outposts and look at the details, no single missile launcher. It's a medium slot with mass drivers. So they did away with the missile silos. Now you can get torpedo bays. But I could add some gun batteries on here. That'll give it some more defense and also allow it to have more defense platforms. Right now it can have 6. With 2 gun batteries I could have 8. And each of these gun batteries will add 2 additional medium-sized weapon slots. Currently this station has 3, so I would end up with 5 and then 7. But what I actually need over here, especially if battle takes place, is a shipyard so that I can quickly reinforce from over here and I can upgrade ships here. So I think I will build 1 shipyard and 1 gun battery. I can always get rid of the shipyard later, like when I get gateways and don't really need a shipyard at every border. But having one over here, we would be able to upgrade there, be able to build reinforcements there. So I think what I'm going to do for these defensive stations at this level is a shipyard, 1 gun battery, and a crew quarter, because I probably will end up parking a fleet here. Building wise, I could put a disruption field generator, actually a communications jammer. Reduces their chance of disengaging from combat, so I'm more likely to destroy their ships. I may do without the crew quarter, since a lot of my ships are going to end up patrolling when they're not busy anyway, not just sitting idle right now. My fleets won't have that huge of a cost. 20 energy credits for a full fleet of 20, so it's about an energy credit per ship. And if I look at my alloy cost, it's about a 1/5 of an alloy per ship. So yeah, I don't really need the crew quarter here so much. I could probably get rid of the one on my capital, but I will leave it for now. But we do want to put a shipyard here. And after we get the shipyard, we will go into building a gun battery. And then I think I am going to add the defense platforms. So that this is, because this is, I'm most likely going to antagonize these people. And I want to have this built up as much as possible. Alien materials studied. We have concluded our study of the vessel we recently captured from the Delta Bogies. The absence of a living crew made our investigation challenging. Fortunately, they left behind enough material for our linguists to gradually decipher their language and identify them as the Uthobulan allied clans, allowing us to communicate with them should we so please. Furthermore, we were able to study their ship's technology, which has helped our researchers uncover some novel new approaches to our own research problems. That gave us some society research, and we get first contact with them and a little bit of influence.
Permanent communications have been established with an alien empire.
Alright, we have also established communications with 2 others, so they are a hegemony. So the Uthobulan allied clans, erudite explorers, xenophiles, fanatic materialist. Why such hostility, human? We mean you no harm. Erudite explorers and a direct democracy. So as we acted with hostility, I can't do the friendly greeting. You will find yourself no match for us. That gives us a bonus to spy network growth on them. This gives a penalty to spy network on us. Do not interfere with our endeavors, alien. Now, we also established communication with the United Latrepian domains. They successfully translated our language. Diplomatic channels are now open and all hostilities between us have ceased for the moment. Despotic hegemony. Decadent hierarchy. Decadent hierarchies are highly stratified slave societies that have few concerns aside from maintaining their rigid way of life. We are the United Latrepidan domains, minions of the wise overlord Verprim. Our aim is to build an efficient society through the use of technology, and we are always keen to study new alien civilizations to see what can be learned from them. Now the question is, who's the leader of this hegemony? Do I want to get good relations with one of them? This is in my way. We already have bad relations with all of them. We will fight for our right to exist. And the hegemony of Ubaria. They appear to have successfully translated our language. Despotic Empire. They are a harmonious collective. They're authoritarian societies where the citizens are devoted to the state without the need for coercion. They are usually friendly toward others so long as they do not meddle in their internal affairs. I speak on behalf of the hegemony of Ubaria, and I bring you greetings. Our great leader, Emperor Hask Pogrom the First, is very pleased to have made contact with your unique species. We look forward to an exchange of culture and ideas. Do not interfere in our endeavors, aliens. So now, let's go to the situation log, the victory conditions. They are all weaker than us. Now this is the strongest one, so it might actually be the leader of whatever federation they're in. We have 2 available envoys. Let's go ahead and start first contact with the Victor bogies, the space amoebas. We will send Mahesh Gowda. Actually, no, we'll send Santiago Vasquez. And we will go to the Uthabulan allied clans and start building a spy network. So we can get some more information on him. We have received our first clandestine report from Spy Master Mahesh Gowda inside the Uthabulan allied clans. This marks the foundation of our first spy network within a Xeno empire, ideally positioned to warn us of their alien and duplicitous schemes. Xeno scum. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to be the leader of this organization. United Latrepian domains are the ones that are closest to us. They sound so cute, unfortunately. Yeah, we're probably going to end up as rivals. And we're probably going to end up subjugating these empires. Whether we conquer them or turn them into subjects is a matter up for debate. Right now, I think we're going to have to conquer at least one of them because they are in a federation of sorts. They will not accept being subjugated. Now, we could do a war of subjugation to rip them out of the Federation and make them our vassals. Let's see. Let's have a look at their species. Tundra preference. Okay, since they are a tundra preference, they are not a species I want to integrate. This is one I would like to make a subject, because they inhabit a different world type than me. I'm not really interested in them at this time. Really, I don't want colonized planets that humans cannot live on. I plan on terraforming cold and hot worlds to wet worlds. Alright, the United Latrepian Domains, they are also a tundra preference. They're all going to be tundra preference, because they all have to share, because two of them would be the guaranteed habitable worlds of whichever one had the origin. So these are all a tundra preference species. These are the type of people I plan on making subjects, rather than conquering their territory, because I'm not interested in a tundra world until I can terraform it. Now, do I want to change my policy from expansionist? That boosts my colony development speed and reduces my outpost build cost, alloy cost. If I switch to belligerent, it boosts my naval capacity, reduces my claim cost and my war exhaustion cost. Isolationist boosts my monthly unity and my governing ethics attraction, but I can't really have diplomatic deals. So I think I am going to switch over to belligerent. It will cut down on some of the penalties because we'll get rid of the border friction. I don't plan on improving relations anytime soon with empires. Having the reduced war exhaustion gain in case I get attacked or claim influence cost would be useful. This empire will attempt to bully weaker empires into submission and their will. Yes, I will. Now, there is a way to try and get them to accept subjugation by raising relations, because part of the acceptance is how they feel about you. But yeah, as you see, minus 1,000 for being in a federation. I'm not going to get them to be subjects anytime soon. Now, proposing a subjugation would give me the vassalize war goal. We have to have the subjugation casus belli, so I'd have to propose it and have them refuse to get the ability to vassalize them, or to make them a tributary. And I can always do humiliation wars just to get some influence. But yeah, we'd be at war with all three if I declared the war. I'd like to be able to build up my empire a little more, so I just want to kind of annoy them, and I think I will outpace them and make... Right now they're inferior to me. 3 inferior empires could probably still do some damage to me. I need more intel on them, and I probably should have spied on them first, but oh well. They all have closed their borders to me. I have closed my borders to them. The only thing still in my borders is the Tiyanki, which are peaceful. Although I may end up hunting them a little later. I would like to finish the first contact first so I could see their effective power level. That's the reason I'm going for the hostile ones before I do the Tiyanki. So I can see what it's going to take to clear them out. Now that did give me 2 extra fleet capacity, or naval capacity, and that probably affected my faction. No, it didn't drop us down to low. But we now have additional things doing the conquest. and asserting dominance. Declaring war against one or more Xeno empires will please them for a time. I've already got 100% approval. I don't care about pleasing them temporarily. 80% approval will get you 10% happiness boost to everybody who's a member of that faction. So I would like to get this one up to about 80. But right now I would have to have at least one vassal and a rival, and have my naval capacity up higher. We did make them happy by going to belligerent. So now we can add... Oh, wrong. No, that is the right fleet. We can add an interceptor or two to this fleet. And it would take two... we would be able to boost up our naval capacity a little bit more. Since we are now belligerent, we have that bonus. See, it's still going to take a while to get that shipyard out. So I will just let Deneb build the reinforcements for this and get this fleet built up a little more. Alright, we're 1 month from becoming a colony. Getting another population, which will get us to 5. So we can go ahead and switch from colony to mining world. And let's move one of our miners up to be an entertainer. We're about to get another human. And we can move this clerk over to be the other miner, so that additional human will go up and be the other entertainer if we need it. We still need our minerals up, so that we can develop these colonies a little faster. So we are going to be focusing on mining districts unless we start running in a shortage of consumer goods. This one also needs a holo theater. So we need to get up to 400 to get it, because right now we're going to have amenity issues when this other population is built. We'll probably end up shifting over one of these servants over there.
Special project complete.
Our archaeologists have successfully excavated several starship hulls on the surface of Austin 3. Relics from the massive space battle that took place in this system 2 million years ago. The forces involved were the 2nd and 3rd fleets of the First League Grand Navy, fighting to contain an incursion by the combined fleets of the Rickham, a nomadic warrior species from the Galactic Rim. What began as a minor skirmish quickly escalated into a running fleet battle involving hundreds of ships on both sides. It is impossible to tell which side won. Alright, we need to start building holo theaters here in Flaxington. Now they'll only take 2 consumer goods, so we should still be good on consumer goods. Yeah, we're actually good with just one entertainer for now. When we decide to finally move somebody over, or a miner goes up, or another population grows, then we'll worry about filling the other slot. Big and testing. Upon entering Koldax, our sensors picked up strange readings. Dismissed at first as glorified asteroids, things quickly changed when it was discovered that these entities reacted aggressively to movement in space, even at great distance. Our observation of these entities, preferably from a safe distance, is advised. So this next stage 3 should be the end of this one, and get us contact with the space amoebas. Then we can start working on the alpha bogies, and then we will free up an envoy to do something else. Either spy on one of these empires, or we can start doing espionage at the on this empire, just to get more resources out of it. we're going to get started on a stronghold here on Leffingwell. Now, I'd actually have the more spare people to spend here because they are servants, or over here because they are also domestic servants. But this species is very strong, so they have a bonus to army damage, so they may actually make good soldiers. And if they come to invade, this is the first planet they will run into. So let's go ahead and start building a stronghold here that will give us 2 soldier jobs, which will boost our naval capacity enough to finish out this fleet. But it has been another 5 years, so thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.